Oracle Park there in San Francisco, home of opening night last night with the New York Yankees and San Francisco Giants opened the 2026 season. We welcome you all in and certainly hope you enjoyed the game last night and all of the pomp and circumstance around it, as it was a lot of fun. Some interesting ways to be theatrical. And listen, Netflix opening it up, you had to expect there would be some drama to it, right? And so you had the cable cars, you had the taxis, you had the dancers welcoming the players on the field, Bert Kreischer out there screaming and yelling. And I had to look up who he was, but he can yell. And we had a WWE wrestler. And, oh, by the way, Eduardo, the national anthem, absolutely one of the best ever. For me, right up there with Whitney Houston and her national anthem back in the day. When they first went to it, I thought they should have an actor on, right, or some star or somebody on there. And they had on a retired serviceman. And I thought, all right. I mean, I like that we're honoring the service. Unbelievable national anthem. It was absolutely remarkable. And then they had drones in the outfield that created a pyrotech, and you can see it on the TV side. That is the flag that they created by releasing some smoke and the red, white, and blue. Eduardo, that was amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. The flag, the drones, they continue to take it to another level. I also love the 73 symbolic canoes also on McCovey Cove. I thought that was really cool as well, all wrapped in the Netflix stuff. So look, eventually the show, they nailed it. They nailed it from the cable cars to the taxis to the dancers. I thought it became what it should be and what we've seen other sports do. So hats off to that part. Hats off as well to Jameis Winston for going back to his roots in baseball. And it was really cool tying it all together, as in the Under Armour games, he was able to face Max Fried, the starter for the New York Yankees, when he was also a baseball prospect before going to Florida State and being a two-sport athlete. So he was comical, he was funny, he was genuine, and it was really good to see Albert Pujols, Anthony Rizzo, and yes, Barry Bonds as well on set pre and post game.
Yeah, and I got to say that our friends here, Matt Vasgersian and Lauren Shahadi, terrific job on their part from MLB Network as part of the Netflix team, and then CC Sabathia, Hunter Pence. They both did a good job, and the chemistry was really good in the booth. Like they were telling stories and really playing off each other quite well. So it was a good show last night, getting things kicked off there in the Major League season, and a good ball game as part of it as well. And so we always kick off the 9 o'clock hour by taking around the bases and all the top stories of the day. And so we will do that again today. So the home run story of the day was Max Fried and the Yankee offense getting it done against the Giants at Oracle Park in San Francisco.
Swing on, drive to the gap in right center field. That's going to get down. Everybody's running. Here comes McMahon. Wells flying around third. Grisham to second, thinking about third. Here's the throw to third. He dives head first. He's in there with a triple. 2-run triple. And the Yankees have a 5-0 lead here in San Francisco.
I thought we pressured him. Even in the first, he went 1, 2, 3. But, every at-bat was tough, and it was a battle. And I thought all night, we were able to do that against a really good one.
Playing the game, you have a 5-run lead. You have a little bit more room for error. You're going to be more aggressive in the zone and just trying to make adjustments.
It's really a testament to just how good he is and how he can beat you in different ways. I thought in some ways it was a bit of a grind for him tonight, kind of in and out of rhythm a little bit. I thought it settled in the middle innings. It's just his arsenal is so vast that, even when, today was a little effectively wild, I'll call it, and it makes you have to account for a lot of things.
Yeah, that was Aaron Boone right there, the manager of the New York Yankees, talking about his pitcher, Max Fried, the last part of that conversation. And look, it took him 18 pitches to get through that first inning. He walked Luis Arraez immediately in that first inning. And then from there, you're like, okay, if the San Francisco Giants are to get on the board against an elite pitcher like Max Fried, you have to get him when he's not on. You have to get him when he's searching. They weren't able to. With runners on first and third and 1 out, a strikeout, and then a pop-up inning and a ground ball inning over for Max Fried, and then came the Yankee offense. And boy, did that offense come in big. In 21 pitches that Logan Webb had to throw in that top of the second inning, it was an ambush of 10 pitches in between that caused those 5 runs to score, and the Yankees did not let up. The changeup was a pitch that it seemed like they were sitting on. They had 3 consecutive hits on 3 pitches off that changeup, and the big one was the Grisham one where he ended up hitting a triple. But Steve, my concern with the San Francisco Giants at the time, at the beginning of the season, was their defense, not only in the infield, but in the outfield. And Elliot Ramos in left field, he had an opportunity after he bobbled the ball to throw the ball to second base and keep the force play in order, runners at first and third. Instead, did not. And because he did not, you end up having runners at second and third, a base hit seeing eye through the middle from McMahon, drove in the second and third run of that inning, and it just seemed to snowball on Logan Webb. Defense has to play, not only in the infield, but in the outfield for the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, not a great showing by the Giants yesterday, particularly because one of the things Tony Vitello, their new manager, tried to emphasize during spring training was the fundamentals. Make plays, hit the cutoff man, throw to the right base, make plays. You're gonna make errors along the way. But a couple of plays in the game, I think the Giants were fortunate, even on the play with Ramos throwing it to third instead of to second. Willie Adames, got the relay, and then he threw to second to try to get Caballero extending it, going from first to second, and the ball hit Caballero. Otherwise, it would have gone into right field. Adames also on a double play ball threw it away at first base, and so there were a number of different plays. It was just a bit of a sloppy game by the Giants yesterday, and not a lot of support for Logan Webb. And I thought, to your point earlier, I mean, Max Fried was on the edge in the first inning. A 4-pitch walk to Luis Ariz, who, you have to really try to walk Luis Ariz. He walks, and he gets in trouble with first and third to 1 out, but gets a big strikeout of Willie Adames, then gets a ground out to second base to get out of the inning. And from that point, then they get the 5 runs right in the top of the second. And I think Fried from that point on really settled down.
Yeah, he really settled down, and then after that, it was game on, right? The cutter worked really well, pitches up in the zone. He used the shadows to his advantage as well. I thought a lot of the hitters struggled, and they talked about it in game as well, as tough it is to see the ball out of his hand. With the tight spin that he has on that curveball, it's really tough to pick up. He had the changeup working as well. He would change eye levels, making it very uncomfortable for a lot of the hitters. And, oh, by the way, Steve, I need to throw this out there because we are comic relief as it is. But just imagine Tony V, his last game was a super regional type game where he ends up also going to the College World Series. But, man, all of a sudden your next game managing is actually against the New York Yankees. Granted, Aaron Judge went 0 for 4 with he went 0 for in the game, 0 for 5 in the game with 4 strikeouts. But it's still the New York Yankees. That's a reality check right there. You're in the big leagues right now. You can hold on to that paper all you want. This is the big leagues. This is a different game.
So bigger reality check for him. The fact that, Stanton hits lasers to center, it's 7-0, or that he was in the bathroom when he was supposed to be doing his Netflix interview and he missed Caballero's ABS challenge while he was in the bathroom as well. I mean, that's just some bad timing. The day didn't go well for the Giants yesterday. I mean, he caught himself in the bathroom. He said, I went to the bathroom once during the game, and it happened to be when I was supposed to be doing my Netflix interview with Lauren Shahadi. And I mean, it happens, right? You got to go.
Yeah, you got to go. A lot of people are wondering, wait, during the game, he was actually being interviewed when that happened. No, that was actually taped between innings. So on the route, because it's at the end of the dugout in San Francisco, he might as well just took his way to the John and missed the first challenge, the ABS challenge in the big leagues. But it worked in their favor. And that's one of the things we're going to look at. ABS challenges up in the zones.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. We'll talk a little bit more about that. All right. So that was the big story of the day yesterday. The big story of the day today, happy opening day to 11 games in Major League Baseball on the field, getting things kicked off. Eduardo there with his Pirates Youths Medium jersey on. He'll be watching Paul Skeens against the Mets later today.
myself included, we can handle adversity a little bit better, as a squad. And I think that's a great thing. Adversity is a great thing because you learn a lot of lessons from it, but both, good and bad, and I think that's great. And I think everyone in this clubhouse has kind of looked themselves in the mirror and honestly reviewed kind of what happened towards the end of the year last year.
I'm excited for the daily battle, the daily grind, and when you kind of peek your head up from that at the end of 162, hopefully we're in the playoffs, going and playing for a World Series. So that's the goal. But again, I'm excited for the daily to get into it with these guys.
Chasing 2 is similar to 3 in the sense of it's what you've done the prior year. So I think the thing is trying to remember what got you there and how you prepared, the focus, the hunger, the desire to be great, and separate this year from last year or 2024.
Oh, 3 very distinguishable voices there. Tarek Skubal being the first, Pete Alonso, the new Oriole, being the second, and then Dave Roberts trying to three-peat for the LA Dodgers on the third one. And each one of these guys understands how it is to get and what it takes to get to the postseason. One of them knows how to win it all, and that's Dave Roberts. And look, this is new beginnings for everyone. Today, I wear my Pittsburgh Pirate jersey with the Mets jersey in the background. It's going to be the first game that is going to be going on today. And then there's going to be a plethora of games after that, 10 more after it. But it's new beginnings for everyone. It's a start of being able to go through the grind. 187 days, 162 games in those days. And it's a lot of travel. It's, as players would say, pick your friends. This is where you don't get to pick your friends. They pick them for you. The roster is picked for you. The family is picked for you. So during that time, it's what team can gel together, what team can move the runners over, what team can throw the strikes and catch the balls and make it happen during that period of time. And Steve, I think it's open for grabs for a lot of divisions, maybe not in the National League West, but every other division, it's going to be very tough to predict.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be so much fun. And it is so unpredictable as to what's going to happen and how it's going to unfold. I guess, except for the Dodgers winning the West, that part seems fairly predictable. But for the rest of it, I think it's going to be a battle. And to Tarek Skubal's point, dealing with adversity, there's so much you can learn from it, good and bad. Yeah. And yet every team is going to go through adversity during the course of the season. Like, we look at a team that wins 94 games, think, oh man, it must have been easy for them. No, like, can you imagine the injuries, the grind, how you overcome, the loss of players or underperformance from players, or guys who go in slump, or the Tigers who faded and the Guardians came back on them, but then they rallied in the playoffs, did the Detroit Tigers. And so there is so much adversity there that teams go through, but it all starts today. And, baseball is made for talk radio. Because every day you feel like you're either going to win a World Series or you're the worst team in baseball, right? You're never going to win another game. And I shared the story earlier that when I was Mets general manager, we opened the season down with the Marlins. And at the time, I think we had a $100 million payroll, which was at the time one of the higher payrolls. And we lost the first game of the season. And the papers in New York said $100 million bust. And I was like, I went to the writer and I'm like, really? Like 100 million? It's like one game. And he goes, I don't write the headlines, as many of the beat writers say. Like, they don't, right? They send their story in, and then an editor comes up with a headline to be able to attach to it. So then we won the second game of the season. I went over to him and I said, okay, so what's the headline tomorrow? He goes, oh, it's easy. $100 million for a 500 team. And I'm like, you just can't, like, New York in and of itself, you can't deal with. But the daily ups and downs of the season and the passion that it inspires in fans, the frustration or the excitement, and then they call in and puke it out on radio. It is so good for us to have that sort of level of passionate fan out there.
It really is. And look, it's new beginnings for a lot of fan bases, right? If you look at the Texas Rangers fan base, just to pick one, last year they were a 500 team, right? They finished 81-81, yet they had the best ERA in the game. They have a chance of all of a sudden surprising in that division, a team that was picked to win it by many last year, the division. This year hasn't even been mentioned. they could be a team. They've made a lot of different moves. They've have a new leadoff hitter in Brandon Nimmo. They're a team that can spice it up. Today you have Skeens Day, right? He's taking it as any other day. He's going to go up against the New York Mets in New York. Weather is favorable for everyone. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see the greats, the number ones, take on a lineup that is going to be good all around. And I want to see, and I'm curious to see, and this is one of the big reasons I wear the Pirate top today. It's not just because of Skeens. I want to see who O'Neal Cruz is going to be this year. How great can he be? He has underperformed the last few years. I understand coming out of a big injury a couple years ago, but he needs to be a superstar in order for the Pirates to actually get to a 500. A 500 for them is 20 games from where they were last year, 71 and 91 last year. Let's see how they end up being this year as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to be able to watch. No doubt about that. All right, let's take some phone calls right now. Let's go to Alan in Kansas. Alan, good morning. In a leadoff spot, Eduardo Perez, Steve Phillips, how are you?
I'm confused. I'm relying on your expertise.
Oh, don't do that.
Well, good luck with that. I mean, I know. I mean, that feels like a lot of pressure.
Day, 23, temperature 30. Opening day, 24, temperature 30. Today, opening day, temperature 50. What's going on?
Let's go. Let's go. Where are you, by the way?
I'm right outside Wrigley Field.
Oh wow.
There we go.
All right. So it feels like we need a little Jim Cantori on the show right here.
Well, he needs,
to be able to help
all,
us sort through the weather.
The first thing that I would do if I'm at Wrigley Field, I would actually stand by the Starbucks because there are going to be some rookie players that are going to go on a Starbucks run. It's guaranteed to happen in uniform. And at least you can get some pictures, some selfies with them, maybe with a venti, a couple ventis, a couple grandes. It could work. But I'm telling you right now, it's going to happen. Rookies will go and get that Starbucks run.
I love that. That's great advice right there.
I'd love to see Shota, but I've got a bum knee, so my walking ability is limited.
There we go. Knee replacements are us, is what I would do.
Yes. Yeah, but Alan, a Cubs fan from Kansas, up at Wrigley Field, like I love that, traveling for opening day despite the weather conditions there. Let's go to Andrew in San Diego, where I suspect that the weather will be a little bit nicer than it is going to be in Chicago. Andrew, good morning in a leadoff spot. How are you bright and early this morning?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you? Happy opening day to you all. So listen, real quick, I think that the consensus across America is, of course, that the Big Blue is going to take the West, and I don't disagree. I feel like when you have a payroll that's next to Jeff Bezos, you've got a lot of options. But I will say this, little brother has hit a bit of a growth spurt in the last couple of years, and I feel like as long as we focus on every team, not just the Dodgers, that my Padres will have a chance to compete. I do feel like 80 wins is a little low, maybe 85, somewhere around that range. Starting pitching is a bit of a challenge for us, let's be clear. But if we can get healthy into some of those arms in the back, get Joe Musgrove back perhaps, I feel like we have an opportunity to do something great, but we just got to stop focusing on Big Brother that's up to 5. What do you guys think?
Yeah, listen, appreciate the call out there bright and early in San Diego. He does sound like he has a little payroll envy going on, doesn't he, with the Dodgers? It was sort of shots fired. But I think the Padres are going to compete. I do.
I really do as well. And I think they know that. They're a veteran team. I walked into that clubhouse. This is a payroll that's over the $200 million mark again. Last year, they finished up at $211 million. This year, they're at $208 million. I think the chemistry in there is really good. I think their starting pitching is really good, and so is their bullpen. Will they compete? Yes. Will they make the postseason? I believe they have the team to make the postseason. They need to stay healthy. They have a couple guys that could be top 5 guys in the MVP award in the National League, one being Fernando Tatis Jr., the other one actually being Mr. Merrill in center field. I think the sky's the limit for those two guys. Their outfield plays, this is a really good team, man. I understand the Dodgers are there, but the Dodgers are older, and it is hard to continue to sustain that 162 game season in such a short, aggressive period of time, and having a shorter post off season than anyone else. So I'm curious to see how the Dodgers react. Dakota has them around 94 wins. Fangraphs has them around 93.8 wins, if I'm not mistaken. Steve, this is a division that if the Padres start off hot, they can't play catch up to the Dodgers, but they can definitely set the tone early for the Dodgers.
Yeah. Just get in the playoffs one way or the other, whether you beat out the Dodgers or not. By the way, Petco Park, so beautiful. It's if you've never been to Petco, you've got to make a trip out to San Diego. One, it's going to be 79 degrees and clear skies and sunny today. Tarek Skubal against Nick Pivetta. Tigers, Padres. That is going to be a really fun game to get the season started for sure. All right, we're going to come back. We'll talk a little bit more about opening day, previewing some of the matchups and games today. That's next here in the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio and live on TV.
I'm doing great. How could I not be doing great? It's opening day. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
What's going on, Ben? How are you?
I'm doing well. Steve, first of all, I'm a lifelong Mets fan, and I'm 43 years old, so I'm a little too young for 86 and 88. So you built the first playoff team that I can remember, the 99-2000 team. The 99 team, still my favorite team of all time, so thank you for that.
Oh, sure. You bet.
So it seems like with the Mets every year, the last couple of years, we go into the season with, if everything clicks, this could be a 100-win team. But if it doesn't click, then this could be an 80-win team. And I'm just wondering, do you think this is the year? Is this the year where is there enough protection behind Soto? Is Polanco, Bichette, Beatty, Robert, these guys going to get it done? Is the starting pitching finally going to click? Did they do enough by getting Peralta? Right. Is the bullpen without Diaz going to hold up? Because I see a lot of the writers this year, it seems like the trendy thing to pick the Mets to win the East, the Mets to maybe win the NL. And, yeah, 2 years ago, this was a team that was in the Game 6 of the NLCS because everything clicked. And then last year, from June on, everything didn't click and it fell apart. And, yeah, they definitely made a couple of big additions. Bichette, I think, is going to have a nice year. But do we think that this is the year that things actually click for this team? Or is this a year that is going to look like last year and then things sort of fall apart, as they so often do in Mets history?
Yep, got it, Ben. Thank you so much for the call. And Ben had his coffee.
Answer away, Colonel Sanders.
All right, so here's the thing. Chris Russo, I was on Chris Russo yesterday on Mad Dog Sports Radio here on Sirius XM, and he asked me who are the teams that it could go either way. It could be boom or bust. And in the American League, I thought the Texas Rangers, because it kind of happened to them last year. I thought they'd have a chance to be good, and it sort of fell apart on them. I think they're kind of the same team this year. And I said the Mets in the National League, everybody else seems to think they're the best team in the division. I think they're a third-place team in the division. I just don't see it. I think they got less at each spot on the field from the team that they were last year when they won 83 games. And so I don't see them being a playoff team this year. But Eduardo, I think you might look at it differently.
Actually, my concern with the New York Mets is the production from the 5, 6, 7 spot in the lineup. I think it's going to be very important. And predicted right now in that lineup, after Jorge Polanco, who is predicted to be in the 4-hole, you end up having Luis Robert Jr. Who's he going to be in New York, right? We know he's going to be elite defense, but offensively, is this guy going to be a star or is he not? That's question number one. Question number two, Brett Beatty. Is he going to be able to, along with Mark Vientos, be able to do a really good job of platooning in that position? I don't know. And that second question, again, the second question, huge. The I don't know factor. Marcus Semien, you know you're going to get elite defense. But offensively, is he going to be the Marcus Semien that we saw last year in Texas? Or can he be the Marcus Semien that we saw a few years ago? All those guys have to have bounce-back type great years in order for the New York Mets to win this division. I think and I haven't even touched on the pitching side of it yet. That Kodai Senga has to be the superstar pitcher that they wanted to. He's got to show up. He was completely absent in the second half of the season last year, at least in the last month of the season last year. We didn't even know where he was. So they need to know that he can be on that bump, counted to be on that bump at least every 6th day. If they're able to get Senga there, then they have an opportunity. But the offense in the middle of the lineup has to play. They cannot just depend on Soto. They cannot just depend on Bichette or Lindor to be able to carry them offensively throughout the entire season.
Yeah, they're looking for bounce backs from Marcus Semien, from Luis Robert Jr., from Francisco Alvarez, getting it done.
Yeah.
And like they got so many guys that need to be a lot better than what they were last year. It just seems to me a stretch. Now, I'm actually excited to watch Carson Benz, the young outfielder, who's going to get the playing time in right field in the start. I like that. I mean, kind of the last outfielder, homegrown guy that they had was Brandon Nimmo, who had a nice career before they moved him on to Texas this past year. So Ben's going to be an interesting guy to be able to watch here on opening day. All right, let's go to the phones to Scott in Boston. Scott, good morning in a leadoff spot. How are you, Scott?
Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good. How's
What's
everything
going on? How are you?
Everything's going well. Good to speak with you, Mr. Phillips and Mr. Perez. I'm a lifelong Mets fan, 49 years old. I got my 2 boys in my car with me right now. We woke up this morning, surprised them, and we're heading up to Citi Field. We got 2.5 hours till we get there. So
let's go,
I
boys.
love it. Let's go.
Let's
That's
go. Give
fun.
yourself high fives in the back.
That's so good.
Dad.
That's going to be fun.
Thank Dad.
That's a memory right there. Creating memories. Got to love that for sure.
Hot take today. I think the Mets take it from Skeens today. I'm feeling good about this lineup this year. Really excited to see these boys play. So, excited for it all. Thank you guys for everything that you do. And hey, Brooks, Hudson, what hot takes do you got for Steve and Eduardo?
I think the Mets are going to be a 95-win team this year.
All right.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's what I'm from the back. Is that from the back seat as well? Is that from the back row? From the back bench?
That's shotgun. The younger guys in the back seat.
There we go.
Yeah.
Look.
That's interesting.
This is an interesting because I guarantee you right now the Mets with an early start. There's some guys already in that clubhouse and they're listening. They have MLB Network as we are simulcast right now as well. This is a good team, man. It's a good team with a new coaching staff as well. But they do have what ifs, and we just touched upon those what ifs. The big question as well is, can Mendoza make sure that his arms stay healthy? That's going to be the big question with every team, but especially with the New York Mets. Can they stay healthy on the bump and be able to give the ball to Devin Williams and Luke Weaver? If they're able to do that, look, this team has a chance, but they have to be able to stay healthy the entire season for that to happen.
Yeah, to your point, the bottom of the lineup needs to give some production to support the top 3 or 4 in the lineup as well. But nice memory by Scott creating that with his boys there. Hopefully the weather cooperates with them today too. There are some showers in the area here in New York.
No, we're good.
The other
We're
thing
good.
I would say is that I would not have been able to be part of an interview as a kid like this on my way to a game because my dad always had me in the 3rd row facing backwards outside, in the station wagon.
The station wagon?
I was in that 3rd row.
Station wagon?
The station wagon facing out, looking at the drivers behind us along the way.
Steve.
And so especially you get to the bridges, you're all sort of bunched together. It's a little awkward because I'm like staring at the guy in the car behind me all the time.
Steve, let's face it. No cell phones. Definitely no Bluetooth back in that era when you were in that station wagon in the back. And you weren't buckled up either. I guarantee you weren't buckled up either.
No. And we had only AM radio in our car. My dad was big on the AM, FM cost too much. So we forget having the Sirius XM in the car. We had AM only in the car as well. All right, we'll come back. Some more phone calls previewing opening day in Major League Baseball. Opening night last night, a big hit. No question about it. Fantastic night starting the season, but 11 games to be played today. We'll talk about them in the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio and live on TV. And I always like to make sure with the TV side that they're okay, that, it's white, but it does have like black in it, but it gets washed out a little bit. And Eduardo suggested that they pull up the picture of Colonel Sanders behind home plate during the playoffs last year. And I resemble that remark, I think.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do, Steve, and it's okay. That's why I was first wearing the Buccos. We talked a little bit about the Buccos Mets. Also, I want to honor our former colleague here, right, Derek Shelton, who this is his jersey, and as a matter of fact, even in the back, Shelty in the back, getting it started with the whole thing, and he'll be today going up against the Orioles in Baltimore, Camden Yards. So that'll be a good one as well, as I know Tim will be watching. Maybe torn a little bit with Milo there, seeing Derek manage against his Orioles. But congratulations on getting another big league gig. The 55-year-old, you want to call him Derek Shelton. So we'll see how he is. And he gave a shout out to the guys in Loud Outs. Never gave a shout out to the guys here at the leadoff spot, but it's okay. We love them.
Yeah, we do. I mean, anyways, and by the way, Tim pointing out the wind will be blowing out to right center field there. By the way, a new scoreboard in Baltimore, 2.5 times the size of the last scoreboard in right center field. And you wonder a little bit how it's going to affect the wind currents out there in Baltimore. And so something to keep an eye on there as that game today. It's going to be the Baltimore Orioles and the Minnesota Twins. And I think,
that's a great call with the scoreboard, and that's not the one that you guys are seeing right now on MLB Network. But we've seen other scoreboards when they get bigger. We've seen how it has affected the play on the field. We've seen how buildings around stadiums have also affected if it's the marine layer in San Diego. When buildings went up, if it's in DC when buildings were going up around Nats Park. You're right about this one. This one's going to be interesting. We saw it with Wrigley Field as well when the scoreboard went up in left center field. So I'm with you.
It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. By the way, I think the one thing that if Shelty's listening, Tyler O'Neill for the Orioles, be careful if he's in the lineup today. I think he has homered in 5 straight opening days, if I'm not mistaken. 6 straight opening days. Like, that's crazy. And listen, I think that Craig Albernez, whether he wants to or not, he has to start Tyler O'Neill in this game. All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Bo in Ohio. Bo, good morning in the leadoff spot. How are you today, Bo?
Hey, fellas, I'm good. Happy opening day.
Yeah,
Bo knows opening days. What's going on? How are you?
46-year-old Tigers fan here. Couple of questions, kind of related. Do you think this Tigers offense is going to hit enough to make the playoffs for a 3rd straight year? And on top of that, do you think, what are the chances Kevin McGonigal could win the AL Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, sure. Good call, Bo, and appreciate that. I think Detroit in this division is the team to beat. They've got better pitching this year with Framber Valdez in the mix there now, along with Casey Mize and Tarek Skubal and Jack Flaherty. And they do have some depth of younger arms in the farm system. They fortified the bullpen with Kenley Jansen at the end of the game, where he'll likely get the ball in the 9th inning. They didn't really impact the offense a lot, but McGonigal has a great eye at the plate. He has tremendous plate discipline. I think he does have a shot at the American League Rookie of the Year, and it would really benefit them if he's an impactful offensive player. Now, that's asking a lot and expecting a lot from a rookie. I think he can grow into being that kind of guy, but he's a heady, high baseball IQ guy who can make plays defensively and has a great feel at the plate. I think Detroit, the team of the beat right now, Eduardo, in the AL Central.
Yeah, they're a really good team, right? They have the pitching. They went out. They got Framber Valdez. I think that solidifies it. And they need that defense in the left side of the infield. When you get a Framber Valdez on your rotation, obviously the guy's Tarek Skubal, but Framber Valdez, you need elite defense down there. And I think Kevin McGonigal, so much was made out of his talent in spring training, and I'm glad to see that as a non-roster invitee, the prospect is up on day one, because deservedly so, and his eye is going to play big. It's going to play big on this one.
Yeah, and listen, if he is a rookie of the year, the Tigers are going to get a draft pick for starting him in the major leagues. Also, can't wait to watch Justin Verlander back in Detroit, getting it done. By the way, my mom did text me this morning. She's in Detroit, outside Detroit now, in East Lansing, but texted me "play ball!" this morning.
Did she see your outfit?
She's fired up.
Did she see your outfit?
Yeah, she is watching.
Did she dress you up?
She said, tell Eduardo.
There you are. There you are.
That's so wrong. Like the picture of Colonel Sanders in the stands is that in Toronto? I think it was in Toronto last year.
That's in Toronto. World Series.
And all I can say is finger looking good. All right, let's go to Bill in Baltimore. Bill, good morning in a leadoff spot. How are you, Bill?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen. This is my first time call. Just wanted to touch a little bit on the Orioles this year. I think that they're going to be sneaky good with the two small pieces to the rotation in Baz and Bassett, as well as fortifying the lineup with Alonso and Ward. I think we're going to see great things out of the Orioles this year. I think they're a little underrated and could push possibly, in my eyes, for the pennant. Beautiful here today, 70 degrees. Scoreboard looks great. What's your thoughts on the Orioles? Thanks.
Yeah, I think the American League East, Eduardo. I think if the Orioles end up winning the American League East, I'm not going to be shocked by it. I like their team.
I am.
It's just such a tough division. You'd be shocked by it?
Please, Steve. Don't say you're not going to be shocked. When you have three teams like the Toronto Blue Jays, the Yankees, and the Red Sox in that division, that right now most likely are better than the Orioles, and if the Orioles do win it, I'd be shocked. I love the players there. They underperformed last year. They really did. I mean, but they need Adley Rutschman to be the Adley Rutschman that everyone thought was going to be as soon as he got to the big leagues. A switch hitting, offensive, and, by the way, leadership skilled guy. We didn't see that last year. We need to see that from him. We also need to see the health of that middle infield. Gunnar Henderson has to play big. I think they're going to miss in a major way Jordan Westburg. I think he is a big loss for them offensively and as a leadership standpoint. So other guys are going to have to pick it up. Gunnar Henderson, hopefully being around Team USA, seeing what superstars look like, he can now become one because he's got every bit of potential to be able to be that superstar player. And I'm so pumped up that Mark DeRosa picked him on the team and played him at third base, gave him a start at second as well. But Jordan Westburg is going to be a huge loss for the Orioles. And Pete Alonso, yes, he can't do it on his own. Did he win a championship with the Mets? No. I still think you have to go through the Yankees, the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, and that's tough, especially in a division that also has the Rays. That's not an easy team to beat. It's not. I'd be shocked if they. I'd be shocked if they win the division. Oh yeah.
I like their starting pitching. Kyle Bradish and Trevor Rogers, Zach Eflin back in the mix there. Chris Bassett, Shane Baz is part of it.
Steve,
the bullpen.
Do you like the Yankees rotation better than the Orioles? That's a yes
little
or no
bit,
question.
but
okay.
Yes,
do you like the Red Sox rotation better than the Orioles?
I like Crochet better than everybody else.
I made you think.
Yeah, but no, I like Crochet better, but I think the rest of the rotation, I think the Orioles stand toe to toe with them.
How about the Blue Jays rotation? Do you like them better than
Blue
the
Jays
Orioles?
Have some injuries in that rotation right now, so they're not quite what they're going to be, but yeah, I like them comparable to them. I like the lineup. I mean, listen, they struggled against lefties last year. They had a Taylor Ward and Pete Alonso. They're two of the top four hitters, right-handed power hitters in the mix. I think Gunnar Henderson's going to have a monster year. I am not discounting the Baltimore Orioles. I think that they've got a shot to win this division.
They need to get off to a great start for two reasons. The teams that are favored above them. And most importantly, we just saw it right there on MLB Network from the ballpark cam. That scoreboard is huge. And if you don't get to a quick start, that batting average and OPS is going to be right in front of you the entire time while you hit. So get it going quick, man, because that scoreboard, those numbers are going to be bigger. So you want to get off to a really good start. Seeing under the Mendoza line when you're hitting, no bueno, man. No bueno.
Yeah, no, those are big. Those are big 64s on the board right there. Bingo. All right, we're going to come back with the morning matchup. We'll try to work a phone call in as well in the leadoff spot. MLB Network Radio, live on TV. All right, time for the morning matchup. Now, yesterday in our picks to click, Tim, our producer, came away the winner with Luis Arise, who was 1 for 3 with a single and a walk. And so in our conversations, in our grading system, the walk factors into the total bases for the day because you should get credit for walks and it should be accounted for in that way. And I had Rafi Devers, who was 1 for 4 with a single. But because the 2 total bases, now Danny Wexman took Aaron Judge. Man, wow. That's the chef kiss of death right there from Danny Wexelman.
He got
as 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts, the golden sombrero. And then Patrick had Willie Adames, who was 0 for 4 with a strikeout. In fact, a very critical strikeout and an error. My goodness, Patrick, also the chef's kiss of death with it. All right, so where are we going to go today, fellas? Tim, where are you going?
Against homered against the Blue Jays last year. He's going to hopefully homer again today against the Twins. He already has one against Joe Ryan in his career.
All right, Tim.
Adam
Tyler
Dunn.
O'Neill, not
Adam
a bad
Dunn,
pick.
Ken Griffey Jr., and Frank Robinson. You talk about opening day home runs career-wise.
Yes.
They all have 8.
Wow.
All had 8, and Tyler O'Neill 6 in his career, but 6 consecutive. That's pretty darn good.
That's pretty amazing. All right, so Patrick, where are you going today?
So I'm just going to go with a Tiger. I'm going to go Kevin McGonigal against the Padres. He'll probably be at the bottom of the order. I am going to go with Kevin McGonigal, the rookie.
I love that. A rookie vote right out of the gate.
I go with my own
there.
guys to start the year.
Yeah, listen, I have mad respect for that. All right, Eduardo, where are you going today?
I am going to St. Louis, and it's going to be Yandy Diaz. Yandy Diaz leading off. I'm trying to guarantee 5 plate opportunities. I'm going to go with a different strategy this year. And on the road against Matthew Liberatore, lefty, Yandy Diaz gets on base. Let's go.
All right, so Yandy, for you. Okay. Oh. Wait, what?
Pitch. I didn't want you guys to do it all on your own.
Okay. Xavier chiming in there. I mean, that's the voice of God chiming in out of nowhere, coming in right there. I love that.
What just happened here?
Okay. I don't know.
It's like you. I couldn't let you guys have all the fun. I'm going to St. Louis. I'm actually rocking the St. Louis jersey right now. But
you are.
I'm going J.J. Weatherholt, opening day for him.
Wow.
Debut.
Wow.
Let's go. Let's go.
Wow. You guys.
J.J. Weatherholt.
Right, so another rookie.
By the way, you know the new rules, X? You know the new rules that we weren't allowed to vote on? About now that walks count as well? Did you know this? I had no idea.
Wow.
Until I showed up today.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
It's like Patrick didn't put it at the bottom of the rundown or something.
Yeah.
But here's
you
the
didn't
thing,
get
it
a
won't
vote.
matter because here's my morning matchup pick. And, you know, we talk about Tyler O'Neill with his 6 leadoff home runs on opening day. There's another player in Major League Baseball that has 6 home runs on opening day as well. Any idea who that is? Bryce
is it
Harper.
Trout or Harper?
Bryce Harper going against Nate Eovaldi today. So I'm going Bryce Harper. And this is the year of being elite. This is Bryce Harper's year of
Chip
being
on his
elite.
shoulder.
Yep. He's going to come out angry. And Bryce Harper homering for the 7th opening day in his career. Let's go. Your walks won't matter, boys.
Let's go.
Big Bryce going deep today. So listen, it's going to be so much fun. We had opening night last night, which was a blast. 22 teams opening today, 11 games today. 3 other games tomorrow will be home openers for teams as well. Some of the dome stadiums waiting to open until Friday. But looking forward to it all. It's going to be so much fun, Eduardo.
I'm just happy that the Cardinal jersey still fits X. That's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing.
It's amazing. I mean, he's half the man he used to be. All right. Have a great day, everybody.